Mashuuru 2023. Umatizi siku zuri.
Good morning fro wherever you are, we are back with day 2 of the Jamhuri ya Mashuuru Road Race right here on KTV, Kalisterd TV. This is the last road race of the Kenya Cycling Calendar 2023, a general classification race consisting of a time trial on day 1 and the road race today being day 2. The start of the race was in Kajiado, Kajiado County, Kenya on the Kajiado-Imaroro Road covering 100 kilometers a 50 out and 50 back. The road race attracted a good number of cyclists aiming to finish the season on a high and looking forward to the 2024 season. Race categories of the day included the elite, ladies, under 23, mountain bike category and the paracyclists. The weather at the start was a bit chilly with weather predictions predicting a sunny day ahead. It was an anticipated exciting race as the Safari Simbas were to battle with the Kenya riders team on the road as their respective top riders on the time trial had only a 5-second gap. This race promised to be one of the most exciting races to be witnessed as the year came to a close.
Katana. 20 seconds. 15. 10. 5. 4. Ini last race mjatak. Cheers. Be safe out there.
off the riders started as our on-the-bike camera rolled, giving you a sneak peek into the peloton grand depart. Once the riders were flagged of both riders of the Kenya Riders and Safari Simbas immediately sprung to the front to control the race. Jeff Lagat happily took the duties of controlling the tempo after Samuel Kagiri had attacked and was now at the front as the first breakaway of the day. At the front as the breakaway, Kagiri had time to warm up and was enjoying the scenery before the peloton had a mad dash at him, breathing fire. At the back, the ladies and MTB category were riding in one group, with the mountain bikers marking each other that no move would be made unresponded. From the onboard camera we could see the first attack that came from the MTB category coming from Jonathan Katana, who coincidentally was Day 1's MTB category winner before the rest decided that they would not let him go and sped after him. Coming to the men's, we had Kiki of the Velonos team at the back of the peloton, and it seemed his legs had not yet fired up as up front there was an uneasy calm in the peloton, with both the race favourites from the previous day being in the same group. Up ahead on the road it was chaos as bidons were spewn all over the road due to the rumble strips on the tarmac. Back to the ladies' race, nothing had changed as the status quo remained as both ladies and MTB categories were in one bunch just as they started. Onto the men's, the peloton was also intact as none of the riders had attempted a breakaway move up until Ken Murori decided to give it a go at the front as the peloton watched him go. Lorot, seeing an opportunity down the road, decided to attack to bridge to Ken, bringing with him Joel Chiaviro, and they formed a three-man peloton up ahead on the road. Behind them, a three-man chasing group had formed of Gichuru of the Simbas and Kiptala of the Kenya riders before being brought back by the peloton. From the main peloton we could see riders such as Parsi, probably the most improved rider of 2023, basking in his attack exploits at the concluded Grand Nairobi race in November. Up behind, more and more bidons were being dropped on the tarmac as Ken was reeled back into the peloton, leaving a two-man breakaway at the front, both under 23s and a good sign of the future of cycling. Lorot and Chiaviro were now the race leaders as the peloton was bunched up together, leaving them time to add more seconds if not minutes. Back to the women's, nothing had changed as the group rode together. Back to the men's, the Simbas and Kenya riders were still at the front controlling the tempo as this time Josephat Githambo and Evans Wangai took on the shift at the front as the two breakaway were still on their own at the front. Back to the women's, it seemed Berber Kramer was on domestique duties as she was the leader of her group as none was willing to come and pull as another bidon fell after Dedan Ireri tried to bunny hop the rumble strips. Back to the men's, and we saw Githambo had been let go by the peloton and was now chasing after the leading two riders. And behind, Cornelius Kemboi had suffered a puncture and had to change wheels and chase after the group he was in, but was helped by Samuel Kagiri, his teammate. Up ahead, Dan Kiptala had made a move with Kerr of Simbas watching him closely before the two were reeled back by the peloton behind them, as we saw more biddens again falling on the tarmac after the cyclists passed the rumble strips. Up ahead on the road it was enough for the day, as Joel Chiaviro, who was not feeling well, had been dropped by Lorot and had soloed at the front as the race leader. By the time our cameras were back at the peloton, Joel Chiaviro had already been caught, as it was time for David Kinja of the Simbas controlling the tempo at the front. Back to the ladies, and the status quo was still the same. In the MTB category, the mountain bikers continued with their accelerations time and time again, still finding themselves back again with the ladies group as they now all enjoyed the long descents. Back to the men's, a Ineos development team rider had crashed but got back on his bike quickly as Jeff Lagat attacked in a bid to bridge up to Lorot, whom the peloton could now see. But Lagat was brought back and Lorot was finally caught by the peloton and happily sat in the peloton as more attacks continued at the front. Patrick Magoo attacked and Wangai was quick to respond to the attack as none was allowed to break away by the peloton. After the peloton got back together, Joseph Kamau of the Simbas decided to test the riders and attacked but was brought back by the hawk-eyed Evans Wangai of the Kenya riders team. The peloton due to the attacks had split into various groups before rejoining back together as one. Back at the ladies' race, Dinah Safari had tried to accelerate away but Berber Kramer was quick to spot this and brought her back immediately as the group came back together. Back to the men's, and the peloton was now at the turning point of kilometer 50 before resuming the endless attacks of the day that characterized the race.
What's up? What's up?
Lorot, back at the peloton, decided to attack, but David Kinja of the Simbas would not allow him to leave and brought him back. The peloton came back together and as usual someone had to attack. This time it was Evans Wangai, and Gichuru of the Simbas was quick in pursuit and on his wheel. Attacks continued as the Simbas and Kenya riders' rivalry was in play, and any move by one was checked by the other. Cornelius Kemboi of Team Cyc decided it was his turn to test the rider's legs, and he too joined the attacking game as a four-man group saw his move and he was brought back. Once the peloton was together, Githambo fancied his chances and attacked, but the peloton let him go only to bring him back after not so long. Kemboi then decided to attack again, only to be followed by a four-man group. This attack being the catalyst for the major peloton split of the day. As the peloton ahead now had representatives from Baiskeli Garage, Simbas and the Kenya riders. This front group maintained its speed, and were not caught again as Kemboi again accelerated and two riders in the group. Kinja and Karanja were dropped before Karanja dug deep to rejoin the front group again. At the front, Gichuru was the only remaining representative of the Simbas, and his efforts of the day coupled with the incessant attacks he was dropped after Lorot attacked and Kemboi counter-attacked, dropping Gichuru and Karanja for good. At the front it was now a 5-man peloton that stuck up to the finish line together. Kemboi and Patrick Magoo attacked the 5-man peloton group, and Lorot, seeing his teammates on the verge of being dropped, dug deep and brought Kemboi and Patrick Magoo back. Only for Ivan Kipruto and Dan Kiptala joining them, and once they joined, Patrick Magoo attacked again, and by now everyone in the group knew that the 5-man peloton would hold up until the finish line. Lorot decided that he would test the rider's legs as he attacked again, but he was brought back, and by now all the riders in the peloton knew that this was to be decided by a bunch sprint. One kilometer to the finish, Kiptala made a sprint effort but was brought back, and again he came to the front on lead-out duties for Lorot. Who emerged as the winner, with Kemboi taking second and Ivan Kipruto taking third. The Simbas came in the second peloton and Dina Safari took the ladies' first position.